Well, we finally made it to a world with no end. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do want to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact, here we are to do a breakdown / live reaction review to chapter 220 of Chainsaw Man, which is known as Bonds and Michigan. Oddly specific. I don't know how this is going to go, but now I'm genuinely very intrigued to how the fight's even going to function. We're in a world without Lil D, which is a world without Big D, which is a world where a fight between two already basically immortal beings kind of can't end, but now it super can't end, because now everything post-life, including Lil D itself, is gone. Right? So, like, how's this gonna go? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. So let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 220, Bonds in Michigan. All right. Oh, wait a second. Three? She hit us with the three. I mean, like, it is like, it's not even like this. It's like, she's hit with the three. So, interesting though, she's not saying bang. Obviously, still very similar to Spagooter Fire, but all right. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see, is it 6 according with her fingers? No, it's 7. All right. Ugh. But, all right, darn, she's blowing up. But, like, once again, what's this doing? I mean, like, damage wasn't erased. Pain wasn't erased. So, like, they're still technically, like, progress can happen, I guess. But, like, Yoru, what does this even do? What do you fight? Well, she's fighting for her sister. But, like, considering she already kind of forgot, like, what Lil D was at the end of last chapter since Pochita just ate her. What are you even fighting for? I mean, like, what did she think her sister was? Like, that's gotta be mad weird. Like, what do you think she was? Like, did you think she was like just your big sister? Like, what? Like, because I can't imagine. I mean, I suppose like the feeling, but then again, she didn't even like her sister. She wanted to, in fact, use her as a weapon. So, like, what are you feeling right? Is it just obligation? I know you still want to fight Chase, but like, what is driving you now? I don't know, but I mean, she's rat-a-tat-tatting. Let's see. Oh, okay, Pochita with the weave. Pochita with the weaves. He's got motion, twin. I see you. All right. Interesting though, he's not attacking her. He's just boop, boop, boop. Oh, and I do want to address something real quick. When I was like, oh, what was the point of that Pochita? That's actually been really, really bad. And hold on, in fact, let me double check the poll as I go to speak on what I'm speaking on. But, very specifically, I was like, what was even the point of that? Is that bad? But a lot of people point out that Denji and Pochita are probably just building their own world now, right? So, in that case, if they're truly building their own world, a world that they would not like is one with Lil D in it. So if they can get Lil D up out of it, then, might as well, right? On their pathway to building their own world. Which is interesting, because, like, notably, Pochita has been shown prior to, like, want to help Denji, like, not cope, but, like, function. And, like, you know, develop as an individual. If anything, creating a world without Lil D is interesting. Because, like, I guess that is just, like, okay, if this is the point that Denji's reached to after all these gone through, then I'm fine with helping supporting it. I'm guessing that's what Pochita's on, but that's still very interesting. But on top of that, it looks like 234, the 234 people who voted on that poll, 67% was, like, kind of aligned with me when I said Pochita's doomed them all. But 33% of you are like, Pochita has saved them all. And in a way, he kind of has. Like, the thing is, though, without, like, the pain concept and the suffering concept and the damage concept all being eaten as well, there's kind of, like, no release of Lil D. But I suppose you could still make that work. It's a world of endless war. If anything, when you think about it, Yoru should be happy that her sister's gone. Right? Like, isn't this exactly what she wanted? So I extra don't get why Yoru's fighting so hard right now. That is interesting. I do wonder, though, because another thing I saw commonly going around with this now being the case is, like, what do they think happened to people who did perish because of, you know, Lil D? Do they just think do they just generally believe they went to the farm upstate? There's a whole bunch of people in the farm upstate? Did that accidentally undo anything? Like, especially, like, for a person who's, like, in the midst of, like, let's say their heart monitor just flatlined the very second Pochita went, it ate. Like, are they now just there? Chilling? Are they just, like, an absolute, I don't know, let's see. Whack. Yeah, but he's still not attacking her. Oh, and the other thing I want to mention, I went down all that and forgot the main thing I want to bring up when I said I want to bring something up. A lot of people are assuming that Pochita specifically ate Lil D so he can try and figure out a way to split Yoru from Asa without booming her. And then they'd possibly throw up Lil D after that's the case, because then they can just eat Yoru or boom Yoru and erase this incarnation of war. As we've seen, man-made concepts will pretty much inevitably return. It took La Bomba Nuclear a while, but they came back. And ultimately, Yoru, despite being one of the 4 horsemen, is a man-made concept. It's specifically armed conflict between humans with weaponry. So, like, she will return, but she wouldn't be Asa. She wouldn't be in Asa. So, getting rid of Lil D, if only temporarily, is a good way to set Yoru up so she's truly fundamentally immortal, and you can possibly separate her from Asa. We know that, at least if I'm remembering properly, Yoru took up a spot in Asa's brain, right? Like, a piece of Asa was replaced by the crow that was Yoru, and that's what Yoru is now. So, like, maybe if they cut that part out? I mean, we already saw Asa brutalize her head, though, and that didn't do anything. So, Pochita and Denji are in for a whole lot of work if they want to see if they can actually split Yoru and Asa. But let's see. Though, another thing I am wondering, I'll just have my own piece real quick. I wonder, are we really, like, I mean, I guess the conclusion is still the conclusion, but is the conclusion really going to be booming Yoru? We spent a lot of time developing the character. Arguably more time developing Yoru than we did developing Asa. So I'm interested to see if we're just going to end up taking, essentially, what kind of, while currently our main villain also is kind of like our deuteragonist, right? Or at least, like, half a deuteragonist. Female lead, I suppose, is what Yoru was. Let's see. Okay, she's locking in. Whack, buzz, whack. There, bang. Okay, so you were rat-a-tatting just to mess up the ground a little bit, and then you can still bang, or you only bang with a single finger? Okay. There, bang. Oh, whoops. Whiff of doom, despair, and everything unfair, dog. How did Pochita get amped from me? I mean, like, he got some juice, but, like, how are you even more amped? Did Yoru get nerfed, maybe? Maybe that's it? Because, like, a big reason... That's the thing, like, I feel like almost every D in the universe, once Lil D goes, had to undergo, like, a massive nerf, right? Because, like, even though, like, we obviously fear pain and suffering and stuff like that, we fear it because that's typically a telltale sign of Lil D coming for us. But, like, without that, what is that? Like, why would I fear fire? What's it gonna do to me? Warm me up a bit? Toast me, but I'll be fine. It'll just hurt a lot, but okay. What? Fall off a cliff? I'll be fine. Heart literally can't stop, or at least can't stop permanently. I just keep going. Like, maybe Yoru did just get a massive nerf, because, like, why would I fear war if I can't perish? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why Pochita's able to style on her, because she didn't hit him once, and then he blitzes her. All right. Or Pochita just could have just been sandbagging this entire time. That too. Let's see. Blah! Okay. Gut spilled out. Into the school. Jeez. All right. Oh, that's a little. And why could you, of all the ones that's up, why that specifically? I forgot that they literally have the underworld right above their head right now. But is she not? I can't tell if she's healing or not. Is it because she made the contract specifically under the condition that, like, she takes lethal damage, but now nothing's lethal damage, so she can't heal anymore? Maybe. Let's see. I mean, I may be reading too much into it. Let's see. To me, more ELD. All right, it's pretty big. Are people that afraid of that thing? That's pretty big. Why is it Bill? Why does it have fingers on his face? What the heck? It's wrapped in an organ. Let's see. Couldn't do absolutely. All right, I'll admit I wasn't expecting it to get instantly fried like that. But yeah, Pochita, he's just blitzing crazy. Like, he's just better now, bro. All right, Pochita. Wasn't familiar with your game, G. Let's see. Pochita's just chilling upside down. Oh no, so she's still healing. She's still healing. So even without, like, the threat of lethal damage, she still is recovering. All right, man. But, like, now, how's that contract being fulfilled? Because, like, what does taking a life even mean in this context? Do they just lose, like, do they lose their name or something? Like, how does Yoru's contract still function in a world without Lil D when, if I'm not mistaken, her contract requires Lil D to activate? If she would perish, then a person would perish instead. But people can't perish. How's this functioning? I don't know. I hope we do get to see some scale of it. Like, Flash, I mean, we got a name drop of a state here, but like, Flash to the state which shall not be named. Let's see. I was fond of that one. I mean, it's not like it can die. It'll just come back. Well, maybe it won't come back. Let's see. Oh. Plot development. But like, is it actually fried? Is it actually cooked? I mean, it should be fine, right? I mean, it's still a bit like, it should be okay. It can't die, right? Like, let's see. Chainsaw Man, before you and I, before you and I always stood alone, but I've changed. Y'all believe her? Y'all believe her? I mean, like, literally she doesn't stand alone because she has Asa in her, but like... Okay, let's see. But I've changed! Since coming here, I've learned to depend on others. I saw human stupidity and D's sublimity. Sublimity? I discovered the magnificence of friends and family. But Asa didn't have any friends. And she didn't really have a family. I mean, like, she could just be referencing memories. And she did have, what, Yuko or whatever? So you get a little bit, but like... actually, it's really cool. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. I just realized they're standing upside down on the doors to the underworld. Like, is that a gravity? Are they just, like, flexing right now? Can they both fly? Or is that, like, a gravity thing where, like, technically they are standing? It's just that is overwhelming. Like, that is what their gravitational presence is currently attached to. But even Pochita's standing there like, I don't believe you. I don't believe her either. Let's see. I discovered the magnificence of friends and family. Come to me, my kin. Teach Chainsaw Man those lessons to... Oh. Okay. So, you know what? Once again, talking about, like, are we really just going to sack Yoru? She's actually become a relatively interesting character. We aren't. We aren't sacking her, at least not directly. But we are, like, not changing up her mojo flojo. That's the wrong way to put it. But we're essentially the lessons are twisted in her mind, right? Like, ultimately, while Yoru has experienced friends, she has come to depend on others. Hold on, sublimity. Let me make sure I'm thinking, because, like, sublime just means, like, perfect, right? So what does sublimity mean? Sublimity definition. The quality of being majestic, noble, or exalted to the point of inspiring awe. Oh, yeah. So essentially she's like, I realize how goated I feel. He's like, I realize how goated our entire species is. We're kind of goated with the sauce right now, Chainsaw Man. Don't you see the vision? And like, probably kind of. Let's see. But, all that being said, she's taking those lessons she learned through her time with Asa. And, like, all the weird intermingled thoughts and emotion, like, all the complicated stuff that she's been experiencing, she's gotten it. She's developed. Like, Yoru's not the same character she was all the way at the start of part 1. But she's still Yoru, right? And I think this bleeds into the nature and the question that kind of followed, especially with Nayuta, before Nayuta got cut off. How much can a D truly change? Right? How much can it truly resist and go beyond its own nature? Like, we saw an even better example, arguably, with Lil D herself, right? Where ultimately, despite being D itself, she wasn't actually interested in spreading or activating the powers of D itself, because she came to care. So I suppose in a way, Lil D is like a completed Yoru, where she sort of transcended her own concept in a way. Where, like, she's not fully defined by those instincts. Like, for example, right? Ultimately, seeing Yoru still resort to violence and war and conflict is natural for her because she's war. It's like you ignoring your body's commands to eat after a while. Sure, you're able to deny it first, for maybe an entire day. Heck, maybe even multiple days. Me, personally, I think I fasted for, like, 4 days in a row before. But then, and the urges just get too strong. This just start to overpower you. And that's like the instinctual desire to eat. And for us, it being like we need to consume liquids and eat food, I suppose for D's, they must propagate their fear. They must embody it, right? Like, it's not even really a choice. But because Yoru's been seeing through this weirdly tinted lens, like, she's literally been forced to put on human glasses. She's literally put in this scenario where it's like, all this character development, all these lessons, all these things I believe in, but let me apply them through the lens of what I am, right? And technically, she does have that freedom and flexibility in a way that someone that Lil D didn't. Lil D had an on and an off switch. They had to stay in off mode, or else their powers would activate and wipe all life, right? So they had to pick off, and that was it. And who knows how much Lil D had an actual struggle with that. But for Yoru, technically, she's able to express her character development, her beliefs, and her evolution through the same means she always would have. So she doesn't have to live in that consistent contradiction. And you may be arguing, well, Pencil Man, wouldn't Pochita also be an example of another D sort of transcending their nature? And kind of, but not really. I mean, they just lost. They were put into a very brutal form, and now they take care of Denji, which I suppose is different, because they aren't consistently propagating their fear. So I suppose Denji is also, or Pochita is also an example of a D that sort of transcended their concept. But it seems like Yoru hasn't gotten to that point. Or at least, she's actively refusing to get to that point in a way that will, like, propagate peace or anything like that. Let's see. But I've discovered the magnificence of friends and family. Come, my kin. Teach Chainsaw Man those lessons, too. Okay, so it looks like a jellyfish. I'm not sure what that one is. Neither this one. Eyes, maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So this, in a very similar way. Once again, it seems like the end of part 2. Let's see, I feel like this probably is the end of part 2. But the end of part 2 is mirroring the end of part 1 in many ways, where it's Pochita versus a bunch of creatures. It's literally, I mean, hey, what did George Lucas say? It rhymes in the sense of, it is Pochita, the Chainsaw D, the Chainsaw Man, if you will, drastically outclassing a horseman to your opponent, and the horseman is now relying on others to help try and gank Pochita, but let me guess, they're all about to be viciously blitzed as they all leap in and do their, like, attacking thing. Like, this is literally a callback to the part 1 panel that everyone loves, myself included, where Pochita's standing there getting ganked by all the weapon hybrids, only to presumably blitz them all. So let's see Pochita presumably blitz all these people and one-shot them. But the thing is, though, the different context, I mean, hybrids are mortal too, but, like, these ones, like, no one can die. And I do want to see more of that world, so I'm hoping we get to branch out a little bit and see what a world without death is really like, from Fujimoto's perspective, implemented in the Chainsaw Man world. Let's see. Check. Okay. Yeah, it's a little slower. Yeah, so it's not as instantaneous as it was in part 1, which I suppose makes sense because these are the actual Ds rather than just hybrids. But let's see. All right, so Pochita slices the one in half, slices another, removes the heads off a couple. Hold on. I don't have to beat Chainsaw Man by myself. I mean, to be fair, in your initial encounter, well, I'm believe. Yeah, but in your initial encounter, you were ganking anyway. Right? Like, I'm pretty sure that was, like, Yoru. In your original encounter, it's like you were fighting one-on-one anyway. Like, this, if anything, this isn't really part of your character development. You were jumping him with the other horsemen, weren't you? And that's why he lost? Like, he was fighting literally everybody? So, Yoru, it's not like you fought fair the first time either. So this doesn't even, trying to think about it, I was talking about the whole, well, how can we make this character development into her fundamental core nature? Technically, this isn't even character development. Yoru, this is just a run back of something you did before, which failed before, and it's probably going to fail again. Let's see. I don't have to be Chainsaw Man by myself. For I am War D, and war can only be waged depending on country and comrades. It maybe in its most legal definition? But, like, I feel like that's wrong. Like, hold on. It's time to go to Merriam-Webster. Let me see what the definition may be. Merriam-Webster. Let's take a look. The state between states or nations, that's 1A, a period of such armed conflict. That's what I was thinking of war more so as armed conflict. Say hostility or antagonism, strong competition between opposing forces for a particular end. Yeah, a particular end, right? So I guess maybe I'm thinking of that interpretation more. Because, like, technically, well, country and comrades could be a particular end. Like, that war can be waged in a variety of ways. Like, a variety of ways. Against a variety of people. Heck, you can be in the midst of a war and not even know it. Or know it and not be able to do much about it. A lot of wars are like that. There are some wars that have started and never ended. and likely will only end once humans end. If you can take a wild guess of which wars I'm talking about, you know what they are. But let's see. Can only be waged depending on country and comrades. Get a chainsaw, man? This is what you lack. This is the power of bond. He literally blitzed out of them, didn't he? He was like holding back a little bit, but look at, where is he? You can see he's here. He's getting ganked. He's getting ganked. Uh-oh. They're all but that's the thing. It is genuinely insane that you know what? Yoru literally, even if it does, like technically from what we know of their original encounter, this is no different from what Yoru did last time, except she's not fighting with the other horsemen anymore. She's just fighting with herself and her army. In a way, this is Yoru attempting to shonen power of friendship chainsaw. Not on my bingo card, but this is this, right? Like think of this in like any other traditional shonen case. And technically Yoru is one of our protagonists, right? Like I mentioned, she's basically the female lead or the deuteragonist, depending on how you want to view her. Because you could argue Asu's the female lead and that she's the deuteragonist. Regardless. But this is the thing. This speech about friendship and the power of bonds and what the antagonist lacks being friendship and the power of bonds. Like, this is a speech we've heard many times before. And not just in show, just in media in general. What you don't have is friends who love and care about you and can support you through the rough... Like... This is that. This is, like, obviously, it's a little different, but, like, it isn't really. This is the power of friendship, but notably, Pochita actually does have the power of friendship because of his bond with Denji. So, let's see Pochita actually one-shot all these fiends. Let's see. Well, they're not literal. And there we go. That's the thing, right? Unfortunately. And you know what, though? In a way, this is very, very, very true to life. There's, like, larger scale examples of this and the smaller scale examples of this. For a smaller scale one, I have a bunch of baby cousins. There are many a time whenever I've been like watching a whole bunch of them all at once where they've tried to jump me. They have the power of friendship. They have the power of bonds and faith and a desire to take Uncle Pencil down. Even when I'm gently lifting them up off the ground and putting them back in the chair they were, they don't stand a chance. I've been jumped by 10 of them at once. I have a big family. Don't be surprised. I've been jumped by like 10 of them at once. It didn't matter. It was irrelevant. I had the power bonds too. They just weren't there helping me deal with the 10v1. But ultimately, when they were that far, it didn't matter. And here's another case of all y'all being a little bit too far to really matter. And Pochita's just getting to nibbling, dog. He's literally, but hey, I mean, he's got the juice. So he's got the juice, and he's juicing right now. And yeah, it just doesn't matter. But the thing is, though, are any of them actually perishing? Like, what is the state of them? Like, all these beheaded ones that he's not directly eating. Like, what does that matter? And what are these? Like, I generally don't know, and I don't really have any guesses. And a lot of them have fingers coming out of them. I don't know what it is with that. Yeah, just fingers and fingers and fingers. Let's see. Yeah. So he tore through, he fully re-upped on juice, and now he's lunging in. Alright. But let's see. The poor one who just had his head lopped off like, dang, what am I doing here? Why am I still alive? Let's see. Uh-oh. Yoru actually looks a bit concerned. Like, at least that's not the face of someone who looks like they're succeeding. What is this? She says something? Huh? Wait! How did she know that? The whole you know what though? I will readily admit, someone had pointed out in the last review, Pencilman, don't think about this stuff too hard. Her powers literally work on Looney Tune ownership logic. And this is clearly a case of that. What do you mean she has the entire state? Just the whole thing, people included? Like, once again, are any of these people gonna die? Like, the whole state? What? Michigan sword. Okay, yep, the shopping mall, the building, everything's being... But you know what, though? We'll take some allegory, dog. We'll take some allegory. Maybe like, pencil, man, not everything Fujimoto does can be... Think about what this is, literally. Think about what this is. The people, the infrastructure, the land, everything being fueled into one big, massive weapon. To fight a battle that realistically doesn't need to be fought. Yoru and Pochita don't have to be fighting right now, but they are because Yoru wants to. Think about it. And what is Yoru? She's, what? What concept does she embody and represent? Oh, war. Think about how people who propagate war. Realistically, don't need to. But in their desire and their want for conflict and battle and war, they will consume people. They will consume architecture. They will consume land. They will consume entire places. All for the sake of propagating themselves and increasing their strength for the next big fight or the current big fight that needs to be fought. So in a way, this is still commentary, and it's accurate commentary, because this is kind of how war works. War doesn't care who you are, or where you came from. If you're in the war path, oh well, you might as well just be absorbed too. And unfortunately, even though they're nowhere near, I guess whole Michigan was on the war path, because now it's getting slurped up. Golly, all the people too. But once again, are any of them gonna, like, no, right? Because it's gone. So I don't know how this is gonna work out. Like, let's see how big is it gonna be? This is a whole state. Okay, and that's the end of the chapter. Chainsaw Man versus War, as documented by Fumiko Mifune. Oh, so there was a Fumiko in Michigan. Interesting. The state of Michigan collapses at 11:23 a.m. All right, but so clearly the battle does end, because if there's a record of it, because it's documented. But then again, it could be live documentation. But all right, a W. What is this? A Bond? Wait, was it like literally called Bonds in Michigan? Is that what it was called? Bonds in Michigan? Bonds. Yeah, it was called Bonds in Michigan. Yeah. A W chapter, and like, admittedly, an interesting chapter. Once again, this chapter really goes into like what Yoru has become, and what has changed, right? Ultimately, like I mentioned earlier, the idea that technically Yoru's not doing anything different than she did before, right? She jumped Chainsaw Man before. She ganked him before. She still lost a part of herself. She had the bonus of the arc. Like, she failed previously, right? But it's different now, right? Where before, I presume, she was much more emotionally detached to her soldiers, and saw them more as tools. She now does see, quote unquote, the bonds of friendship, right? This is I'm kind of like going back against what I said earlier, but I can see how this still technically feeds into Yoru's character development and her whole mixed mind experience with Asa, where now she understands connection a bit. She understands interlinking with others a bit, and thusly she also understands the importance of bonds and connections and trying to use those. But ultimately, I think the fundamental failing of Yoru here is the same fundamental failing she's always had. She's saying she understands these things. She's saying she knows these things. But unlike Pochita, who's actually achieved like true, real connection, Yoru doesn't know any of these. She doesn't have any real dynamical relationship with them. That's why they all fall so immediately. Like, thematically, if anything. Obviously, not just because Pochita's vastly stronger, but it doesn't help that Yoru doesn't actually know these people or really care. She doesn't mourn even a second for them. The second they're no longer useful, she simply takes a whole entire state and turns it into a weapon. And ultimately, in that way, once again, going back and feeding into the allegory, war is like that in real life too, once again, where sure, there are countless lives and comrades and people lost, but look at how a lot of places treat their veterans. Those who did put their lives and body and minds and hearts and souls on the line. You think they'd be treated pretty well, especially if they took major damage, right? Because once again, remember, none of these D's can perish because little D's gone. So they just took this lethal damage and are now going to be forced to regenerate or reform, or they had to experience all this pain, this, that, and the third. Some of them literally got eaten. At least their insides eaten out. Ayo. But what is war? What does Yoru do? It doesn't care. Doesn't mourn a single one of them. Just moves on to the next thing. And that's kind of what war is. So ultimately, like, this is weird. It works on like every single level. Fujimoto cooked, right? Because it works on every single level. It works on Yoru's character development. It works on what happened in the past. It works on just the analogy for war. And it fits into the societal commentary that Chainsaw Man's all about. And even Pochita, once again, succeeding against these false, empty bonds while having one singular, real strong bond of his own makes sense thematically, fits in with what we know so far, and also sets up for Yoru and Asa still needing to be divided and or saved, where ultimately, if they can really understand what Pochita now understands and Denji now understands, then maybe there can be hope. But I don't know. I'm interested to see. Michigan Sword. How's that gonna work? Like, how are any of the people gonna survive it? Or, well, I suppose like they have to survive it because Lil D's gone, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. And if there's one complaint I have about this chapter, I feel like we didn't really get to see much of the effects of Lil D being gone. So I'm hoping we get that next chapter. because this is a very limited opportunity. So I hope to see how Fujimoto cooks. I just want them to at least acknowledge, like, I want Yoru to at least acknowledge the fact that she's fighting for what? An incapacitation, I guess? Because she can't kill him now. But overall, a W chapter. If you haven't only seen this video, please leave the Sword of Michigan. Not Michigan Sword, the Sword of Michigan. In the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. These things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, so you have the series I am to review, ad variations of all my videos, early access to all my videos, your name at the literal end of every single video, and early access and your name at the end of all videos on the second channel that got the reaction, linked in the description down below, where I drop reaction videos every Saturday at 1 p.m. EST. And also, if you want to just drop 5 minutes to a short video or 25 minutes to a long video, you can go to the Ko-Fi description down below. But now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Brandon Payne, J2MA, Giyomi, Pura Ura, Enzo, Swift Strike, Super Flame Zero, Yuki Ally, ASO2404, Striker Man, Grim, Straw, Ollie, DeBoy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Official Popeyes, Ramondo Furen, Crie Panem, Sarah Fiel, Dino, Axis XZ, Plant Crone, Pickle, Heath Nelson, Hector Gonzalez, P-Sub, Black Sage, Zapro, Tim Thomas, Alex Kenny, Kaving, Julian Perez, 8SOA, Akolade Babatunde, Union I, Oryxen, and Nevis97. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art tier patrons: A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, and Midnight Lord 21. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our ink tier members: King RTX and Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06. And I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a vinyl thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Joaquin Munoz and Joaquin Munoz.